Hey, good morning, Shayla.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay.
I think you were on mute. So we're just waiting for Carl to join us.
Okay.
I forgot Chris, the other new agent. She was having I think she's going through some cataract stuff with her eyes. And so she had that, and I was like, uh-oh, sound like Shayla.
Are
Uh,
all your agents having issues with their eyes
I
this year?
tell you what. But hey, we'll wait for Carl to join us here. He's going to
Okay.
a few minutes, and then we'll go through it. So I'll share my screen here in a little bit once we're done talking about it, and we'll go over what these bulk upfits are and how they work and things like that. So uh, the schedule, the breakdown, how they plan to do it, and so y'all are a lot more familiar with that. And how that all works. We have all the booklets, so we'll be able to go through it, and I'll explain how it all works and what it all does, and hopefully that'll answer all the questions. Let me text him real quick if he has the Zoom link. He set up Outlook. Oh, there he is. I got it. All right, there he is. Hey, Carl, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
All
Good
right.
morning.
Hey, I got you. Obviously, you and Shayla are on here. I was just telling her that Chris is having, she has a 2 hour eye doctor appointment this morning. She has some cataracts problems, so it's going to be a little while before she doesn't know if she's going to be able to jump on. But I am recording this, so you guys know that, and I will just send it to her, and she can watch the video recording when we're done. So that's where we are right now.
All right.
So I want to keep it as short as possible. I don't want to drag your day out, but I'm going to try and explain this to you guys, and what a bulk upfit really is. You're going to see this. A lot of the buildings we have offices in, Grand Cayman, Breakers, have already gone through this. The Breakers and Sailfish are two towers in Myrtle Beach. Prior to Grand Cayman doing this, they did it at the Strand. And so what a bulk upfit is and how it came about is the association got all the homeowners in the to vote to change the master deed, which allows the homeowners association on behalf of the homeowners to go and secure a loan that will finance an entire building renovation. And then what happens is once that is approved, they hire a marketing firm that goes out and prices out an entire renovation. And what this renovation in essence is all the common areas to the resort. The front desk does a complete renovation. And then you have every individual unit is basically gutted and put back together. So flooring, countertops, appliances, electrical, an entire new furniture package, artwork, bedding. The kitchen cabinets are about the only thing that is not completely redone. What they typically do with those, because the kitchen cabinets can only be what they are. There's not really, now if they can redesign it, they will, but typically they take all the boxes, sand them down and paint them, and then they put all new door fronts on the front of the kitchen cabinets. But it is a complete gut job, and the buildings will be taken down for a series of months over the winter months. They'll normally start at the top and work their way down, and they do 3 or 4 floors at a time, and completely transform the property. The hallways, the corridors, the amenity center, the gyms, everything basically get redone. And then depending on your unit type, if you have a 1-bedroom unit, there'll be a dollar amount that is allocated to that, and then there'll be a lien against the property for that amount. And then every month when you pay your HOA fee, let's say the bulk upfit fee is $500 a month, you will write your HOA fee, and a $500 check will be paid to the association, and they will collect and pay that off. There's no prepayment penalty. People can pay that loan off in full. They can transfer it when they sell the unit. So if I participate in the bulk upfit now, I've made 5 payments on it, and I decide I want to sell, I can sell it and either pay that off, or the buyer can assume the unpaid balance. And then that just transfers to the new owner. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Well, before I do that, any questions about how the bulk upfit works and how the owners get that? I will say one thing: it is a great financial tool to get the whole building to do it together at one time. And the reason for it is not everybody has extra cash, and not everybody has a home equity line that they can cash into and take out money against their home equity line. And you can't refinance these units and pull out excess cash, right? It's the loans on these buildings are not your typical conventional type loans. They're all typically portfolio loans. So anybody who is financed, it is very unlikely that they have the ability to go out and do a $40,000 line of credit against the property. One, they may not have the equity. One, they may not have that. It's a great thing with this too, is this loan doesn't show on your credit, doesn't show on your debt to income ratio. It doesn't affect your ability to go buy another house or buy a car or anything like that. It's just a lien that is attached to the property and secured by the reserves in the HOA. So it's a great tool for anybody that's trying to do it. You don't even have to get pre-qualified for the loan. You just say you're in, and then they attach it to the property.
So what about somebody like I just completely refurbished my unit, top to bottom, everything's new. So if the building were to come along, can you opt out of it, or how does that work?
Yes, it's completely voluntary. So you have a lot of people that say, hey, I don't want to participate in it. I don't want to pay 40 grand to redo my unit. I can do it cheaper. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. You probably find labor cheaper, but the material cost is probably not cheaper. Furniture package, if you were going apples for apples, it wouldn't be cheaper. When I'm buying 500 couches, or I'm buying 500 chairs, my price per chair is a lot cheaper. Now, when I got to bring a whole company in to do the construction work top to bottom for everyone, yes, the cost is probably more expensive from the labor. But if you're using a local contractor or a local tile guy or a local plumber to come in and do some work for you, and it's one unit, you're probably going to get it done cheaper. But when you're purchasing a furniture package, and when you're purchasing flooring, and the magnitude that we'd be buying it to redo all these buildings, I say we, the resort, the rental company, the HOA, the marketing firm, that's the contractor that's behind this to do this. The economy of scale gets them the product cheaper, but the cost of labor to bring in a company from, Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, where, a huge contractor company is coming in with crews that are going to tear the place apart, put the whole building back together in months, right? So the labor cost is definitely higher. Now the way it works too, just so you know, I'm just going to use round numbers. Let's say to do a unit is 50,000. The on-site rental management company is so pro, all the hotels across the world, right? The Marriotts, the Hiltons, the whatever. Every 7 to 10 years, they go through this. They tear, they're required based on the brand to tear everything out and redo it. And then, the brand pays for a portion of it, and then the hotel operator pays for the other portion of it. And so the rental management company here, the Britain Resorts and Hotels, they in essence have adopted that same philosophy. So what they say is, hey, if you do this, the financing terms are over a 7-year period. If you sign up for the bulk upfit and stay on the rental program for the 7 years that you do it, we will pay up to 40% of that for you. So at a $50,000 expense, you know, 10,000 is 5, 40,000 is 20. They're going to pay you back $20,000 over the next 7 years. So the actual cost to you individually is only going to be 30,000. And the way they do that is every month you pay your renovation fee. And then on your rental statement, you're going to get a renovation fee credit. And that'll be 40% of your monthly credit. And they will pay you that over the 7 years that you own the property. So you get a $50,000 renovation for $30,000 over a 7-year period. And as you see what these uplifts have gone to and how much the property has appreciated immediately after the upfit, your gain on the property, you keep 100% of that. So you know, that's how it works. I'm going to share my screen. I need to just figure out which one of these is.
Quick question.
Go ahead. Yes.
So what happens, you know, if there's an owner that opted in to do the bulk upfit, and let's say they sold at, say, maybe year 3, does that mean that the new owner is responsible for paying it off? Or do they collect it at closing if there's like a balance that's due? How does that work?
So it's all going to be in the contract. So give an example. Grand Cayman now is about 3 years into this.
Okay.
So there's 3.5, say, years left on a Grand Cayman agreement. What you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of people are either selling for a slightly higher price with the bulk upfit paid off.
Okay.
And then you're seeing some people are just selling at a slightly lower price and they're assuming the bulk upfit in the monthly payments. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you sell your unit to Carl and you sell it, I'm going to use a round number, 200,000 with a $50,000 bulk upfit paid off. You pay the entire bulk upfit off, but the rental company credit will go to the new owner monthly over a 7-year period. They don't pay off that 40% that they tell you they're going to pay off. The caveat, the catch to that rental credit is for a rental partner. Whoever improves the unit and partners with the rental company, they're going to pay 40% of your cost. You can do the renovation, you can live in it. You just don't get a rental credit. You can do the renovation and you can go to ABC Rentals. You don't get the rental credit from the on-site company. So all the on-site company says, we're a fan of this. We want you to do the bulk upfit. And if you do, we will partner with you and we will pay a portion of it as long as you commit to us on the rental program. So, and so whether it's year 1, 3, 5, probably the closer you get to year 7, that's just going to be paid off at closing. But now that you're kind of in the middle of the beginning of it, typically what you're going to find. So in Grand Cayman, when it first happened in Grand Cayman, everything was sold with the assumption of the bulk upfit. The breakers, on the other hand, most of the units that have been sold at the breakers have been sold with the bulk upfit being paid off.
Okay.
So you went from $250 for a 1-bedroom at Grand Cayman, now selling for $300 with a $45,000 bulk upfit paid off.
Okay.
So, however, you know, there's 100 different ways to get to 9, but however your contract is written. So when you list a property that is part of these bulk upfit communities, the first thing you're going to ask your client is the bulk upfit paid off, or is the bulk upfit to be assumed? All right, if you want it to be assumed, we're going to have it at this price. The lower the price, more likely sold with the assumption of the bulk upfit. The other side of it, especially when it's a financing deal, that's the best way to do it. If there's no other sold comps to support the higher price. And then if it's a cash deal, a lot of times people would rather just pay the higher price, pay the bulk upfit off and receive a rental credit. So typically financing, there's an assumption of the bulk upfit, and then in cash, it's a payoff of a bulk upfit. But it can be done either way, whatever is preferred. My recommendation is always start with the lower price, assuming the bulk upfit. And if
Mhm.
somebody wants it paid off, we raise the price, whatever the outstanding balance is, and then you pay it off.
Okay.
A lot of people pay cash, probably 50-50 finance and cash. And then if it's paid for in cash, we just take the unpaid balance and add it on top of what current fair market value is. And then recoup as much of that as possible in the sales price.
Okay. Thank you for answering that.
All right, no problem. All right, so here's what we got. I'm going to pull this up for you. Bulk upfit booklets. The first one I'm going to share. All right, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm using Caribbean as an example right now. This is the Bulk Upfit project. So they have two different towers there. They have the Dominican Tower, which is typically your 1 and 2 bedrooms. They've supposedly already completed the top 2 floors of the building. All right, these are all the 1-bedroom units at the Caribbean. They're going to then shut down floors 12, 11, and 10, and they're all going to be shut down from September 30th to December 2nd. Then the next schedule will go October, October, October. So they kind of start them a week apart, as you can see, and then they delay a week apart in the completion of the floors. 5th floor, November 3rd through December 25th. So a lot of this is done. You're looking at the December 4th through January 12th. We're going to start, they're going to start the main lobby area here in the main building, which is the main tower there. So where the front desk is a Caribbean. This used to be the old hotel tower that's attached to it. This will be completed. Once they start on the hotel, we'll close that office down while they renovate, and then we'll come back once it's done. So, but this is just a basic schedule, so you can see each building has this kind of schedule. So we'll know when it's finished, and we'll get copies of that for all the different buildings. Here's an example of the renovation, and I'm going to kind of go through this with you from the top. This is the booklet that goes out to all the homeowners. Just so you can see, this is the 1-bedroom tower I was telling you about right here. This was a hotel conversion done in 2005. And then they built this building right here that was completed at the end of 2007. And this building has the main rental desk in it. Why should we renovate? The future. You guys can get access to this. You can read through it if you want. The letter from the HOA managing agents, letter from the on-site rental management, and then it kind of goes into everything that is being done, what's going on while it's down, what parts of the common area. Common area renovations include entrance, foyer, corridors, flooring, lighting, wall finishes. The whole building is going through a transformation. That money is paid for out of the association reserves. And then, the common areas are paid for by the HOA, and then the individual units are paid for by the individual unit owners. This is just IQ Design. This is a lady that came up with the design and concept. The plan renovations. This is what's been done to all the units in there. This is an example, or like a vision board of what has been done in the units, the couches, the chairs, the lighted mirrors, the wallpaper. This is an example of the floor plan. The color here, or where accent walls are going to be painted, the backsplashes, what those are going to be. So you'll have an idea of what the finished products are. You've got some testimonials from different homeowners and things that they've done, and what they can do. Some questions and answers that homeowners have had. The bulk plan notice, how it's all going to go about, and then people were able to take notes. Here's the important part, pricing. Bulk Upfit furnishings and improvements, pricing, Oceanfront, 1-bedroom king suite. So remember, some units have 2 queen beds and some just have a king. I felt like they could have done this a little better over the years that they did this, only because your unit renovation cost is $45,278. Total net cost to owner is $27,167. The rental company is going to pay $18,111 over the time that they own it. So you have 2 different options. You have a payment plan over 84 months, or you have 1 payment up front, and that payment would have to be cash. The interest rate, I forget what the rate is. It might be a 6.95%. So if you paid it up front, you save $12,000 in interest. If you don't pay it up front, you're paying $45,278. That's the financed amount. The rental company, you're going to make a $682 a month payment along with your HOA for 7 years, 84 months. And every month, around the 10th of every month, you're going to receive your rental income check, and you will receive a rental credit from the rental company for $216. So a total net monthly payment to you, your payment, the rental company, the HOA drafts your account on the 15th, and the rental company pays you by the 10th. So basically what will happen is every month you're going to get your HOA fee, and your $682 is going to be drafted on the 15th. But your rental check and your rental credit will be deposited into your account around the 10th. So your net out of pocket is $467 for a complete unit renovation, entire furniture package, bedding, mattresses, headboards, couches, chairs, artwork. A lot of places are most likely getting, well, if you have the right size TV, you'll keep your TVs. Otherwise, everything will be redone. Appliances, quartz countertops, resurfaced cabinets, flooring, bathrooms, vanities, lighted mirrors, all that stuff is getting done in the unit. Okay, and then it's got it broken down for each unit type. So what we typically do is when you get a listing in Caribbean, we will either print this out. Michelle can either print one of these out and just put your page. We typically put the booklet in your associated docs. So if you had a Caribbean listing, or if you went to the Caribbean in the MLS, we upload the booklet in the associated docs and say, hey, owner participated in the bulk upfit. Buyer to assume the bulk upfit, booklet is in associated docs. Now, what will happen is we're doing that now because it's in the process of being done. Once it's completed, we won't put the booklets in. We will just say, you will go to, say, Ally Management, and you will just simply request, hey, Carl, I have unit 1505 at Caribbean. Can you tell me what the bulk upfit balance is, what the payment is, what the credit is? We'll get that from the association, because I'll give you an example. Some owners may already have just put flooring in it. Like your unit, Carl, you've renovated your whole unit, but you might say, hey, I already renovated my unit. I've done all these things already, but I would like a new furniture package. So then you would just get the furniture package, right? And then there will be a payment plan broken down for that. So you do want to confirm, there are some owners that have put flooring in. There's some owners that have redone bathrooms. There's some that have already redone their whole kitchen, but they haven't done everything else. So their cost might be slightly different because they've already participated in some level prior to that. So every unit, you're going to double check what the balance is, what the payment is, and what the rental credit is. And then we will have that in every single listing, okay? So that the buyer is fully aware. And then there needs to be an addendum to every contract will say, hey, I'm buying unit 1505 at the Caribbean. There's going to be an addendum to that contract that says the buyer understands they are assuming the unpaid bulk upfit with the amount of X amount of dollars paid every month over the remaining 80 months or until the loan is paid off, and will receive a rental credit from the rental company if they stay on the rental program until the bulk upfit is paid off. Okay, so how that bulk upfit is going to be handled has to be part of the contract, and we typically do that in a separate addendum. So we want to make sure that the contract determines the sales price, the closing date, the transfer of ownership, but we need a separate addendum addressing the bulk upfit, and if it's going to be paid in full at closing, if it's going to transfer, what the monthly payment is, and what the rental credit is, so that our client is fully protected by that. Once we do that and send it to the closing attorneys handle everything else. They handle the transfer of the lien, the signing of the documents, any documents the HOA needs the new buyer to sign pertaining to the bulk upfit. All of that is handled by the attorneys. So we just need to stipulate in an addendum how it's being handled, who's paying for it, who's assuming it, what the amount is, and what the remaining balance is. And so that's just something that you would get at the time of contract. They would fill that out. I don't even mind if it doesn't even have to be that specific. I would rather it just say buyer and seller, the buyer understands that they will be assuming the unpaid bulk upfit as of such and such a date. This is the remaining balance. Monthly payments are X with the rental credit from the rental company of X if the buyer stays on the on-site rental program. Everybody signs off on it. If you guys want, we've got verbiage. I can send you the verbiage, and you can just plug that into every addendum and then just change the dollar amounts as needed. So just keep it as very simple and generic as possible, and we're covered. And then the attorneys for the association, they get with the closing attorneys, and they have all the documents that are needed to transfer this to the new buyer. Every time a building goes through a bulk upfit, we are lucky enough that they come to us a lot of the times and ask us to help explain it and help selling it. There's a massive market out there for it. We have always sold more units in a building that has gone through a bulk upfit than any other company. Luckily enough, we have an office in Grand Cayman, so we were the go-to company because of that. Same at the Breakers. We've sold more units at the Breakers. Same at the Strand when the Strand went through it. Compass Cove, Caribbean, and Ocean Reef are going through this now. Obviously, we have offices in those buildings. You're going to find yourselves in those offices occasionally. So understanding this is very important, and we will most likely get more listings and more buyers will buy from us because we should be able to understand it and explain the benefit to it than any other thing. I'm going to show you guys at another time where I'm going to send some videos out. I did a historical analysis on buildings that did the bulk upfit, what the values were before the bulk upfit, what the values were post bulk upfit, compared it to buildings that didn't do a bulk upfit, what happened to the values of the building that didn't do a bulk upfit, and what happened to the rental histories. Any property that has done the bulk upfit has seen a significant lift in value, and they've seen a significant lift in rental income. Those that haven't have seen declining values and declining income. So definitely a benefit. Most of the buildings that have done the bulk upfit that have high participation have seen the entire cost of the bulk upfit. They've seen that gain already. They've seen that in property value. So we should be good to go there. But that's how the bulk upfit works. Just wanting to make sure you have this, so if and when you do list a property and you want to know more about it, if you want copies of the booklets, I can send you copies of the booklets. I'll probably send you the booklets anyway, just gives you an opportunity to read through it. On the left-hand side here, you can see what are the unit numbers. Unit 1220, 820, 720, 1520, they're all the same. So the first number or the first two numbers designates the floor. The last two numbers designate the stack that the building is built in. So unit 728, it's the same thing all the way up the 28 stack, and 1528, 1428, 328, 728, exact same unit, right? Just on a different floor. So the unit numbers, units ending in, these are all one-bedroom units, just on different levels. Same thing here, units ending in, same thing, just on different levels. The 09 units are different floor plans, the 08s are different floor plans, the 04s are different floor plans, and then these are all the same. But I'll send this out to you so you have it. I do want you to go through this for each building so that when you sit on site, you are pretty familiar with what units, what floor plans are covered. And remember, the bulk upfit, as you asked earlier, it is voluntary, it is optional. Owners have to opt into it, so it is not mandatory. But I would strongly recommend that everybody does it, because when you have 70 or 80% of the people that do it and 20 or 30% of the people that don't, the majority that do it are going to see higher prices, higher rental income, bigger demand. The ones that don't do it are going to see decline in value, decline in income. And if they try and sell, they're going to have to reduce their price significantly to get it sold, because it won't look as good. Now, if they gutted it and redid it themselves, that's a different story. But if they keep an original standard unit, then that's what it, they're going to struggle to sell against completely brand new renovated units. We don't have too much time left on this Zoom call, but do you guys have any questions on the Zoom call? I mean, on the bulk upfit for right now?
Just one question in terms of the listing. So how do you, is it up to the owner to tell you as the listing agent that they have a balance on the bulk upfit? Is it on me as the listing agent to inquire when I'm listing if there's been a bulk upfit, and then is there a requirement? Is there an expectation that regardless of who the agent is, when I look at the MLS, that information is going to be there as the buyer's agent? Am I also, is there an onus on me to follow up to find out if there's a bulk upfit, or do I expect that to be in the MLS somewhere?
So it should be in the MLS. So first off, as the listing agent, when you list a property, one of the first things you're going to ask that client is, hey, Carl, did you participate in the bulk upfit? And they're going to say yes or no. Okay. If they say yes, we're going to say, hey, did you pay for it in full or did you finance it? Because if it's paid for in full, we're going to price it differently. If they say, I didn't participate in the bulk upfit, great. When we go and list it, we're going to make sure we put in the MLS, owner did not participate in the bulk upfit. There's no bulk upfit fee attached to this property. If they did participate, we're going to say, seller participated in bulk upfit. There is an unpaid balance of X, buyer to assume it. Or you're going to say seller has participated in the bulk upfit and paid it off completely. There is no bulk upfit fee attached to this. Buyer will receive a rental credit of X from the rental company over the next 84 months, however many months are left on that bulk upfit. There's very few buildings that have done this. Honestly, the ones we have offices in are the only ones that are trying to do this or have done this. So it is a little exclusive to the resorts that we have offices in. But I wouldn't be surprised if other resorts start to do this as well.
Well, that was what I was wondering is, do we have some sort of master list of, because I don't know,
Yes, we
because
do.
you're in the business, a master list so that I know going in that 5 years ago, this resort did a bulk uplift.
Yep.
And so I know to address that.
We have that, and we will continue to update it as other buildings or more buildings are done. But yes, there is a master list, and I will make sure you have that when I send out the booklets to you guys.
Okay. All right.
But the two major components here to remember is it is voluntary. Once you're opted in and the construction starts, you cannot opt out. If a buyer buys this and they don't want to do the bulk upfit, the bulk upfit's already in place, so they're gonna have to find a unit that did not opt in, or they're gonna have to get the seller to pay it off, one or the other. And whatever those terms are, they're all negotiable, and they all need to be in an addendum that attaches to the contract.
Okay.
Once these buildings are completed, so starting in January, we will tour every property and see the finished products, the different unit types, and get everybody comfortable with those. And we'll go over any more questions. But if you think of something, just shoot me a text or give me a call, and we can chat more about it.
All right.
All right. Looks like Shayla might have stepped away.
No,
But unless you guys have any more questions, we'll stop right here and we'll move
don't
on
know
to the
what
next thing. Oh, there she is.
All right, guys.
Shayla, any questions before we hang up?
No, I
Okay.
was curious about when it transferred from,
All right.
when
I'm going to send a copy of this recording to you as well. So if you want to go back and listen to it, you can.
Okay.
And then again, if you have any questions that come up, just don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time, and I'll be in touch. Take care.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.